Four Loko is a potent combination of alcohol and caffeine, a fruity flavored drink popular on college campuses. Some call it blackout in a can.
I blacked out. I don't really remember much of the night.
2.5 weeks ago, freshmen from Central Washington University held a party at this vacation home. School officials now say they were drinking Four Loko mixed with hard liquor. The scene quickly turned chaotic as students began vomiting and passing out. 9 were rushed to the hospital. 1 almost died. It was feared they'd been drugged.
The girls, it was like someone I've never seen before. They're almost like they were zombies. They were just passed out. Like, they couldn't really function.
You can find college students on YouTube chugging Four Loko, and with an alcohol content of 12%, it's the equivalent of 5 or 6 beers in just one drink. Several states are trying to ban the drink. Students we spoke to on campus say the effects are well known.
I've known people that have blacked out from it, and I know that it honestly doesn't take much to drink. Each can kind of increases the effects exponentially.
The hospitalized Washington students had dangerously high blood alcohol readings, as high as 0.35, nearly lethal.
Girls were outside like on their back, and people were so drunk they didn't know what to do.
In a statement, the company which makes Four Loko says, "No one is more upset than we are when our products are abused or consumed unlawfully by underage drinkers."
What's really scary about these products is that young people are drinking them, enabling them to stay awake longer, to party harder, to drink more.
And Four Loko is not just the drink of choice amongst a lot of college students, it's also popular among high school students. At just $3 a can, you can get very drunk, very fast, very cheaply.
Well, obviously this is a pretty big problem, and it's been very prevalent in the news lately. It's been actually such a serious matter that the state of Michigan's actually banned it entirely throughout the entire state. You can't purchase Four Loko. And there are some other states, I believe New Jersey being one of them, that's considering following suit with that. The blackout drink, that's definitely a label that can carry a lot of connotation. Have you guys had any experience with that yourself?
Yeah, my best friend, she's in college, and she just drank like half of one, and she wasn't even acting like herself. You know, she's usually quiet, and the shy one doesn't do much, but it was like she lost her mind.
Yeah.
It was kind of hard to say that's, I know that person, because they
Right.
lose sight of, what they usually do, and they just lose control of their own body. And that's kind of hard to gain control of, especially if you're intoxicated with something.
My cousin, he is in college, he had a full scholarship, and he did that once, just one can, and he got completely wasted, he blacked out, and by the end of the night he couldn't remember anything the next morning, but it turned out he had fought with a police officer and almost burned him, and basically he ended up losing his scholarship and everything.
And it's just from that one night?
Just from that one night.
He said all he had was that to drink, or?
Yeah.
Does he regret having done that? I mean, how does he feel about having done that experience? Did it scare him afterwards that he did black out like that?
Well, yeah, he's never done anything like that, and he really only did it out of boredom and out of curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
And it was with a bunch of his friends, and he said this afterwards, he regretted it so much because he had so much going for him, and now he knows that it's going to be pretty much impossible to get back into that school, and having that on your record is extremely hard to deal with for him.
Mm-hmm. Wow. What is it, do you think, that attracts people, like young kids or anybody for that matter, to want to have a drink that could do something potentially like that?
I mean, if you look at it, it doesn't look like something that's going to make you fight a cop.
Right.
Or you're going to be blacked out for the rest of the night or anything like that. I mean, it looks like fun.
Yeah.
I think what's attractive about it is that, it did kind of start with college kids. That's where it started. Well,
Right.
if college kids are drinking it, then high school kids are like, oh, well, it must be real cool. You know, you want to have that feeling, sure, but what happens when you don't have any control over what you do anymore? Then suddenly, you know, people rooting you on to do dumb things isn't so dumb. You know, you don't think twice about anything anymore.
Right.
You just do it because they're, you know, cheering you on. They're, you know, and you want to impress some people, and it just takes the whole peer pressure to a whole nother level when you don't even have a mind to think anymore.
It's also, as you said, it's not necessarily thinking about, you're not necessarily thinking about how much is in that can.
Yeah.
I mean, 12%.
That doesn't sound like a lot.
Well, yeah, but if you think about it, 12% is like a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
So in the same size of what a regular can would be with Four Loko, you're drinking basically the same amount as a bottle of wine. Or if someone put hard liquor in front of you and lined up 5 shots. And that's all at once. Like, that's unbelievable. I mean, it's no surprise that these kids end up going to hospitals and stuff. If your body, if you're drinking that and you're chugging it or anything like that, I mean, drinking that much in such a short period of time, I don't think anyone could really be able to handle that.
Or what's the legal limit? It's 0.08, right? After drinking one of them, they're at 0.35.
Yeah.
That's lethal. You're gonna kill yourself with one of those. Oh, but it's fun, right?
You know, a big percent of teenagers these days don't read, you know, just doesn't have any knowledge. And if we have knowledge of what that is, like 12% of alcohol, that's, you know, it's like you said, it's like a whole bottle of wine.
Right.
And if we know what that is, then we can share it, you know, we can share it with others and we can pass it down. Like, no, this is too much, it's too much. Know what too much is, and then, you know what the right amount is.
I think maybe like not so much telling them how much alcohol is in it, because sometimes that's just not gonna, that's just gonna encourage them to drink them more. But, you know, telling them what the damage of a certain amounts of alcohol could do. Okay, well, a beer, this is what it kind of can do to your body. And then if you have this many beers, this many shots, this much wine, and a Four Loko, this is what can happen to your body if you just drink this much amount of it. Right. Because if kids knew that you will be hospitalized after drinking just one, you know, they might
at least run the risk of it.
At least run the risk of going to the hospital or puking for the rest of the night, you know, kind of will deter some of them. I mean, you could get in trouble because you go to the hospital, you have to call your parents. I don't want to call my mom calling from the hospital because I got alcohol poisoning.
There are a lot of implications for sure.
So, you know, just awareness of what the kind of damage it does to your body.
Yeah, I mean, five drinks, that's, for one night, that's a lot for anybody. Yeah. You know, I mean, that's a crazy amount, and I think that's true. You shouldn't be necessarily saying, you know, it's 5 drinks. That's not necessarily the message you want to give them, but just the effects that 5 drinks can have on you.
Just as long as they know they can like when you're drinking other stuff, you can limit yourself.
Right.
You know what's coming. You can cut back. Right. But if you drink one of those, that's, you know, unless you're going to be puking, you can't really you can't really cut yourself back. So
on our website we have more about it. So this blog here sort of just goes into more detail about that, and just talks about how dangerous it is being so cheap and so attractive to kids.